with Billy Byrne. Billy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You had a very good season last year, winning the senior support race in the Skerries 100. So the season was going quite well last year. And what was it like winning was that your first big win, really?
Yeah, that was your first major road race win, yeah.
Yeah, and what was it like?
Brilliant, especially being the one close to home as well.
And you were on a special bike, was that correct? Were you on the Martin Finnegan bike?
Martin Finnegan's old bike, who was from Skerries originally.
Yeah, tell us about Martin Finnegan. What's about him? He was a motorbike racer.
Yeah, road racer as well, who was one of the top Irish road racers from the south anyway, the last few years. Martin done quite well down in most of the northern rounds, good southern rounds as well, very well sponsored. Bit of a icon for most of us as well, try and keep with him.
And he lost his life tragically.
He did, yeah, in Tandragee there 2 years ago.
And you inherited his bike as
I
well?
bought his bike over in England, seeing it on the net, so piece of history to try and have as well.
So, and this race was very much kind of built around or dedicated to his memory, Martin Finnegan's memory?
Well, the Skerries road race has been going for a good few years anyway, but yeah.
So it was nice to, I say it was nice switching to win on his bike. Now, we talked off air a little bit about it, and it is an expensive business doing the motorbike racing, but you managed to secure sponsorship this year for your racing, and that can't be all that easy in the current climate. How did you actually secure it? I mean, was there a lot of pressure trying to get something, or I mean, what was the process by which you got sponsored?
Yeah, generally we'd put together a CV, and at the end of every year, then you'd go looking for your next year's sponsorship. Fortunately, I'd seen the team that picked me up now. They were looking for a rider as well. I put my CV toward them, but they had already been considering asking me to ride for them. So after they had a few riders in mind as well, so after a while, a few decisions, had a few conversations with them, and then eventually they picked myself, so gave me the opportunity to ride their 2 bikes.
2 bikes, and the 2 bikes that you've got lined up for you are?
CBR 600 and R1000 cc.
Okay, and the CBR 600 is a super bike.
Super sport bike.
Super spike, and the other one's a super stock.
Super stock bike, yeah.
And the difference between the two?
Super stock bike just means the engine is not heavily modified. It's fairly much a basic bike you can buy out of the shop, some light modifications, suspension, stuff like that, and set of race fairings and off you go.
But the other one is a bit more modified?
The super sport bike, would have a bit more engine work. It's a more competitive class, so there's a good bit more goes into the bike itself, engine-wise, suspension-wise, the whole lot.
So what sort of modifications would you get to the engine?
Engines, you can't go oversized pistons, there's a lot of internal cams, electrics. The electrics alone for some bikes can cost somewhere in the region of like €15,000 alone.
What actually is the electric? Is it
it's the main brain of the bike.
And it's the timing, the actual management, valve management, and all that sort of thing that goes into to actually time
all the fuel injection, the whole lot.
Now, coming up next week, you have one of the most underrated, or at least known, big sporting events on the island of Ireland. It's the Northwest 200. I was reading up about it. It's Ireland's largest sporting event and attracts crowds in excess of 150,000 over the week. It sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing spectacle up there, alright. They can gather that many crowd. But come Monday you'll probably hear nothing of it either.
Yeah, and it starts tomorrow and lasts all night.
From tomorrow. We leave tomorrow morning, and we've practice Tuesday, and Wednesday nothing, Thursday is qualifying, Friday nothing again, and Saturday is race day.
And what the race itself, the race day itself, can you describe what the race is going to be like?
It's the first time for me being in the Northwest, but I'm assuming it'll be like most of the other races. Be 10 minutes nervous before you get onto the bike. Once you're on the bike, then you're enjoying every minute of it.
And the race takes place on just standard, regular roads?
Yeah, there's a public roads in around Coleraine, Port Rush and Port Stewart.
Yeah.
And they just close them off. They'll close them off in the evenings for our practice sessions and close off Saturday for the day.
Before a race, you're very nervous, but once you get onto the track, does your mind just go into autopilot and you're just flying around these corners? Like, is that what it is for us, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You'd be sitting there for 10 minutes before you're getting on the bike, wondering why you're getting on the bike, and then once you're going, you're just loving every second of it.
It looks tough.
How did you get started? How did you come into the actual moto? I started racing motorbikes when I think it was about 16. A friend of mine got me into them. Started riding motocross and off-road bikes, and then I left it for a few years. About 2 years ago, just got back into it again, just out of boredom, something to do.
And you took back to it, no problem at all?
Yeah, it's not bad. I've never done track racing before, so it was my first time doing that, and it went well in it, so...
Good stuff, good
Thanks
stuff.
for
What's the attraction for road racing over track racing?
I think the money aspect is a bit more, because with the track racing you tend to spend a hell of a lot more money on it, like, you know.
That's the big ones we'd see on the likes of Sky and Eurosports and stuff.
Well, no, yeah, it'll take a few years to be at that level for myself, but just even for the Irish Superbike Championships, a lot more money like is needed to try and run in those classes as well, you know.
I was intrigued by that. 150,000 people go to that event, and it's not all that well publicised. Can you account for that, or why do you think it's just not so well publicised down here?
I don't know why it doesn't get as much coverage as it should get, but the only coverage it does tend to get is when there's something, like maybe a fatality or whatever, and you get a slate, and then you'll hear about it for a week or so, but that's only bad coverage it ever gets down south. Whereas up the north, they really are true about it. They love every bit of it, like, you know, where it's always publicised, it's always supported up there. Doesn't happen in the south for some reason.
Now, your sponsors, of course, are from the north, so it just goes to show the kind of support that you actually do get. And in terms of support from the south and from, you know, in and around Dublin, Shankill and that area, is there much coming from there, other than kind of good wishes? But in terms of financial support, is there?
Financially, no, you wouldn't. I got a bit of sponsorship last year from Terry Jackson Motors. Apart from that, nothing really. You wouldn't get people offering to give you money to go racing or, you know, any bit of a handout at all.
Now, the sponsorship, I hope, extends towards August, when, of course, you're aiming to take part in the Manx, the Grand Prix in the Isle of Man. Now, this is a pre-qualifier for the TT race, is that correct?
It is, yeah. Your starting ground to be the Manx GP before you go to the TT. You have to get to know the place. 37 miles long, so there's a bit of learning in it.
Obviously the Isle of Man TT, it seems to be the holy grail for the bikers and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's definitely a dream of yours.
Yeah, I'd love to go do the TT someday, but just doing the Manx for now would be a good start, just a stepping stone to get to know the place, you know.
Excellent stuff. And just a couple of the old heroes through the TT. Anyone in particular your favourite, or I suppose Joey Dunlop's the most famous?
Joey would be the biggest inspiration, alright, but even going back through the years, I would love to see him Finnegan as well there and the likes, but...
Yeah.
Well, there's currently it's Chris McGuinness, is it, or
John McGuinness?
John McGuinness, who's the record holder there, and he'll be competing up in.
He'll be in the northwest as well.
In the northwest, so if anyone's up and around that area, they can go and take a look at someone who's really, I suppose, a living legend and a competing legend at the moment. He holds the course record. In the Isle of Man.
The Isle of Man, he averaged, I think it was 130 mile an hour this year in the Isle of Man. Last year in the Isle of Man.
That's so speed.
And yourself, what would you be aiming for if you thought, if you're on the same course? I know, like, the bikes are different, your experience is different, he knows the course more.
Yeah, well, they say generally if you're starting off in your first few nights of practice, you want to be sort of averaging about 100 mile an hour, and towards the end of it, 117 average.
170 average?
So I'll be aiming for something in around that.
117 average. Well, Billy, listen, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
An inspiration having you in. It's great to get a sports person in who's not involved with the kind of the field sports sort of thing. So we're going to take a break.